Hello everyone, today is May 3rd and I want to give you guys an update on the indoor garden, if you will, my seedlings. It's been about 2 weeks since I gave you an update last, roughly, so things are growing quite a bit. And if I come across a little happy about some of my seedlings and how they look, it's because I'm more than happy with how they progress. So anyway, let's get started. If you notice, I'm in a different room here. This is the apartment that's attached to the house, the main house. And if y'all can remember, upstairs is where I had my seedling station before. However, I need more room because the plants are getting too hard to access from just one side. Plus the temperatures up there aren't getting below 70 degrees. Here they're getting down into the 50s, which is much better to help hardening off the plants. So anyway, these are my onions and leeks. These will be going out in the garden hopefully soon. Over here is a tray of kale and Swiss chard I started. These are both things you can plant straight in the garden, but I figured if I can get some started inside, I can maybe get a jump on maybe 50-60 feet of them once the garden time comes. Now we're getting to the things that I'm very happy about. These are my pak choi, bok choy, whatever. These are the size probably that you get as a baby bok choy and maybe an Asian dish. And look at the root growth on this. These are these peat pots, and this root growth is just amazing. I should have actually done more of these, but I didn't have seeds. These seeds were sent to me by someone from the Bayou forums. I'm not positive who, but if you've watched this video, thank you. Back here we have some cabbage, and now you can really start telling that this is a reddish cabbage. You can really start seeing the leaves are starting to red up. But again, these are some nice looking seedlings, and look at the root growth on that. I'm not too big a fan of the peat pots just because you got to reuse them. I mean, you can't reuse them every year. But I'm sold on how the roots are allowed to grow through. Let me move this down here for you. This video probably will get a little bit long, and I apologize for that. Here we got some Brussels sprouts, broccoli, let's see, broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Yeah, those three. And I mean, those are some nice looking seedlings, I think. These are ready to get out in the garden, that's for sure. Alright, let's go over here real quick. These are my, turn the light on here a bit. There we go. These are my hot peppers, the Super Caribbean Red Hots. These 6, as well as these 2. They're a lot shorter, more compact, but I think certain types of peppers grow that way. These 2 here are my artichokes, which I'm actually surprised at how well they're doing. They're actually getting their thorns, and they're very sharp. And back here's a couple perennials, and then these, I'm not sure what they are actually, so we'll have to find out once they start coming up. And then here, these are some giant pumpkin that I started. These one hasn't come up yet, but some of them are Big Macs, and some of these are, I believe it was a state champ in, I'm not sure, North Carolina or something. A guy from the forum sent me these seeds. Again, I don't know who it was. I'm not sure exactly what they came from, but they're 300-400 pounders. So if I can get one of those growing as a little bit of a novelty for the farm, I think that'd be pretty neat. In the back here, my spider plants, looking well. These are a tray of herbs I started just a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks. They're doing okay. In the back here, I wanted to get some early winter squash, cantaloupe, and watermelon going, and those are just starting to come up. They've been in the ground maybe a week. And these here are some early diva cucumbers, again, just to try to get an early crop going. The rest I'll be direct seeding in the garden. And now my favorite things that I'm growing are my peppers. I got some cayennes, I got some Hungarian wax, and I got some Peruvian chili, as well as some California Wonder Bells. And I'm just asking you, is that a nice looking seedling or what? And I don't mean to boast, but I mean, I went to the garden. I was at Home Depot actually the other day buying some things for the farm, and I looked, they had their seedlings out already, and none of them look as good as these do. They haven't really stretched at all, maybe a slight bit, but they're doing well. Actually, some of them are starting to put buds on. So I asked you pepper experts, is it best to trim those buds off or just let them grow? I'll be putting these in the garden probably in about 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks. But in the meantime, I have them in these paper cups. They're not really starting to root through because they have a wax coating on them, so they probably won't root through. But the goal is to have these nice and, not root bound, but nice and root bound, if you will, when it comes time to transplant. So I'm extremely happy with the peppers. I was very worried about growing peppers because they're very finicky, and I believe this one here I thought I lost, but it looks like it's coming back. This might have just been a very small one, and I think I only lost one out of the 70 whatever amount that I have, or 60 that I have. Alright, so you go back over here. Here's some more peppers. These here, hopefully you can see it okay. These are my eggplant. These things are really growing. They're staying nice, compact, starting to thicken up. The leaves are getting real furry. And these transplants look better than they did in the garden center last year and this year. I don't know what type of root growth we have growing on these. Yeah, they're not starting to come through yet. Now over here we got tomatoes. This tomato, these are actually 2 of them. These are the same age as these are. Some of these you can see are way too tall, mainly down here. We have a couple here. I'm not sure what the variety is, but it's a certain variety. It's these maybe 4 or 6 plants that just stretched beyond belief. I tried to, minimize keeping the light as close as possible, as you're supposed to do, and they still just kept going. And here I found one that is broken, so hopefully I get a sucker coming off of that one. It's just hard because I have these, they're growing together so much. But some of them they're doing quite well. Certain varieties like these are getting some nice thick stems. I mean, that's probably a good 1/4 inch thick, and they're staying nice and short. For instance, this is a variety, this is an Early Anna, or Early Annie, and they're doing excellent. I mean, I picked these up and moved them, and the fragrance of tomato just, started to fill in the stairwell. Between these, the ones that have, I mean, they're a little long. So I think some of these I may be trying the trenching method. The rest of them I'll just see how deep I can dig the hole. And now lastly, before I run out of juice here, these are some of the early okra that I started. And they're getting their spines on them somewhat. I'm not exactly sure. This is either a Royal Burgundy or a Clemson spineless. But since they're starting to get little bits of thorns on them, I don't think they're the Clemson spineless. Again, I'm not an okra expert, period. I've never grown it, never eaten it, never actually seen it grown. It's more of a southern thing, not as big up here in Canada, or even the northern United States.